Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Help for the Guiltless. My name, of course, is Antoine. And good God, I didn't think that razors were going to be the very biggest issue at the beginning of 2019. But boy was I wrong. Gillette decided to get their social justice flowing and everybody lost their goddamn minds. Look, Ben & Jerry's did it already, so I don't expect any other companies to not fall by the wayside and get in line behind the social justice warriors. I mean, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And to be honest with you, I wasn't even going to talk about this stuff because it's a non-issue. Gillette tried to get all up in their fifis and it failed. They understand that now. They decided to get social while trying to sell you products. It's really the only reason I was annoyed by the ad. You're trying to push an agenda by saying that old men are pretty much jackasses and we should not be. Well, that's kind of my thought on it. And then we get hot takes like this. From The Independent, the celebrated new Gillette ad proves even Me Too can be co-opted by the male-dominated capitalist machine. I'm gonna let that sink in, because it's stupider than it sounds. But this is from Serena Bergman, and she's a moron. But don't take my word for it. I'm just going to read what Serena has to say, and you can judge for yourself. I never thought I'd see a day where it was me arguing that Me Too has gone too far. Yet here we are. Like all good things, a movement created to empower women has been co-opted by the male-dominated capitalist machine and butchered into a 1.5-minute ad to make men feel better about themselves. And buy stuff, of course. Now, before we go too far, Me Too was not the focal point of this ad. Me Too was barely mentioned, so I don't know where she's getting this idea that Me Too was co-opted. But I guess everyone has to have a niche, right? This week, Gillette, one of the best-known men's razor brands, has released an ad which overlays news snippets about the Me Too movement with examples of sexism, a bad sitcom where a man appears to grope a woman, a music video with provocative female dancers in various states of undress, a man speaking over a woman in a board meeting. The implications being that this kind of behavior is in the past, in this post-Me Too world. Whatever that means, we're better than this. Alright, let's talk about this, because there's a little bit to unpack here. First, the Me Too movement, again, was not about sexism. Alright, it was about calling out higher-ups in positions of power that were sexually harassing women and men. Let's not forget Terry Crews and Dean Cain and Kevin Sorbo, who have openly spoken about these things. But the bad sitcom where a man appears to grope a woman, since this is not the 90s, that doesn't happen anymore if that man is the star of the show. Now, I guess he was supposed to be some satire of Al Bundy. Except Al Bundy never did anything like that. And any man on television today falls into two categories. One, too inept and goofy to be of any harm, or vicious creeper. He was neither of the two. There are no men on TV like that. As for the provocative female dancers in the music video, so what? After 1981, and MTV happened, there was always provocative men and women in the music videos. People like looking at pretty people. I'm sorry, it's just how it is. Would you rather watch Shakira shake her hips or Tess Holiday? And then the man speaking over a woman in a board meeting. Yeah, that's a dick move, not gonna lie. But if she's not getting her point across, that's not his fault. She needs to stand up for herself and tell him to sit the fuck down. So that's more of her choice to stay quiet. Let's not take away from that example that it was the man sitting at the head of the boardroom table, so that probably was her boss. And then in this post-Me Too world, it's like saying in a post-Trump world, it means it's happened. We are now past it. We are in the post of what has happened. We're post-Trump. Yes, he's still in office, but he got elected. Move on. Me Too happened. It's still happening. Move on. I'm not saying ignore it. I'm just saying that's what post means. We continue doing what we're doing. Now, let's get back to this article. It's such a ludicrous suggestion that my instinct was to assume the ad must have been created by a man. Because of course it was created by a man. Anything that could offend your sensibilities must have been created by someone who has a penis. That it was written and directed by a woman is baffling and does nothing to mitigate its failings. Because it's not the right type of feminist in her eyes, that this has a problem. Oh, and she wants to add, and it should not prevent us from criticizing the message it sends. Well, Serena, let me tell you, I was surprised that this article was written by a woman. I thought it was a man who was supposed to be making fun of the Gillette company and directing them on how to do certain things. The fact that it was written by a woman, criticizing a woman, does not prevent us from criticizing the message that this article is going to send. The video continues with men appearing to call each other out in clear cases of sexual harassment by muttering, "come on," and "not cool," as opposed, we are to presume, to the alternative, passively standing by and watching as women get assaulted by their mates. Except that didn't happen in the video! The whole not cool thing was because a guy was gonna say something to a woman he thought was attractive in a tube top or a short top, whatever the fuck she was wearing. She looked hot, he was gonna go talk to her. Are we not supposed to talk to women now? Can we not even look in their direction if they're dressing provocatively? And the guy who said come on, it was to a cat call. I've been catcalled? Guess what? It made me feel good. No, I'm not saying that every woman or every man who's been catcalled feels good about it. But it's not that big of a deal, and it's not going to lead to people standing passively by and watching women get assaulted. This is a bit of hyperbole, Serena, and you're using it wrong. You are giving two extreme opposites as examples. There's no middle ground here. It's either you call out what you consider sexual harassment, or you do nothing, and the woman who was going to get sexually harassed is now assaulted. What's wrong with you? The message that men need to be feminist allies is important, but this 10-second montage seems to be about as watered down as a version of this notion as humanly possible. Because it's a commercial and not documentary. I thought that was obvious by it being from Gillette. At this point, the ad forgets about Me Too and the women it affected altogether and shows us clips of men and boys being told not to fight. Because, Serena, try and get this through your hoop earrings, your big ass fucking nose, and the thick skull that is attached to the top of your neck. It's not about Me Too. It's not about hashtag MeToo, and it's not about the woman or the movement that is Me Too. It was about men. A men's razor ad being about men. Holy shit. That's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it turns out. The whole video is basically one big long high five to men who don't assault people. You know, like the 85% of men that are out there. Unlike you, Serena, who believe that all men assault people. It seems like a pretty low bar, considering it's supposed to represent the best men can be. But more importantly, it's a warped denigration of what the Me Too movement is all about. Because this wasn't about Me Too. I'm going to be saying that a lot, folks. Not long after the initial wave of support for Me Too, the inevitable backlash commenced. Why was there backlash? That's the question you should be asking. Because it was weaponized. A movement that was supposed to give empowered voices to victims was turned into a weapon. And when it's turned into a weapon, people tend to look at it more thoroughly. The narrative we've seen emerge every time a man has been accused of anything mildly less awful than Harvey Weinstein is that Me Too is damaging to men. No, there was things called out. Kevin Spacey assaulted a teenage boy who was drunk at a party. He was subsequently fired from his very popular, very prestigious position in House of Cards. Have you seen Kevin Spacey in anything recently? Oh, let's not forget that he was completely edited out of a movie that he was going to be in a couple months later that was going to be released. No, there's no repercussions whatsoever for the men that have had this happen to them. Harvey Weinstein's name is no good in Hollywood anymore. So Me Too is only damaging to the men that it is used correctly against. But when you are saying someone who happens to say the wrong thing is considered Me Too, yes, then it's starting to become more of a joke than an actual movement. It's made them fearful, reluctant. These poor men can't even look at a woman without the terrifying possibility that they may be Me Too'd. In other words, accused of acting inappropriately, or worse. Yes, men are afraid, but it's not because of Me Too. It just gave men a quippy word to add, a new adjective to their vocabulary. But yes, they are afraid. See, men are being told that they're nothing more than cavemen. They're all fury, violence, abuse, and anger towards women. So they're a little reluctant to engage, especially with just in the second to last paragraph. It's either you call someone out for, just thinking a woman is hot, or it's assumed that they're going to sexually assault them. Men don't like this. It's not something that we find entertaining, as it were. The problem with this, aside from its obvious absurdity in painting men as victims of their own potential wrongdoings, is that it takes a movement created to empower women and makes it all about men. There's a little bit that I want to reread. I want you to pay attention to it. Aside from its obvious absurdity in painting men as victims of their own potential wrongdoings, Serena already assumes that every man is an abuser, and it doesn't matter what they say or what they do. This is what she believes. Tom Hanks was accused. Tom Hanks was accused. The nicest man in Hollywood was accused of something because of the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement gave people a weapon to attack people they didn't like. It's the Scarlet Letter. And again, this was not about Me Too. It was slightly mentioned in a 1:20 commercial. I don't like talking about this, but it needs to be pointed out that this woman, Serena, is a bigot. Men are automatically wrong in no matter what they do, even if they didn't do anything yet, because they could potentially do something wrong. This is getting into wrong-think territory. Minority Report. Let's arrest them for things that they possibly could do. Although Me Too came to be known as shorthand for calling out powerful men for their misogynistic and often abusive behavior, its value lied, and she used lied wrong, it's supposed to be its value lay in what it gave women. A voice to speak out about experiences they had thus far been forced to stay silent about, for fear of the inevitable societal repercussions. And you know what? If #MeToo really gave these women a voice and gave them the courage to speak out, good for them. I believe shitty behavior should be called out, especially if it's from a place of power, like a CEO, or, the head of a production company. So that was something that it did good. What Gillette has done, in my view, is weaponize this movement as a cultural trend and create an ad campaign which puts men at the center again. Me Too was weaponized before this commercial, and it's not about Me Too at all. It's honestly about telling men, look, this behavior in the past is shitty. Maybe we should not do that anymore. It doesn't put men at the center of the Me Too movement. It puts men at the center of a commercial directed at men. Again, it's a novel concept. In a patriarchal and deeply sexist society, where men are given center stage in almost all aspects of life, they have now come for the movement that women created for themselves and each other. It wasn't created for women, it was created to call out people in power who are acting like jackasses and doing things wrong. Yes, mainly women used it, but there are men that use it too. And I'm not even going to go into the deeply sexist society. The simplicity of that statement is as follows. Serena wants equal outcome, not equal opportunity. There's already equal opportunity for everyone in this country. Equal outcome can never happen, ever. And they've done it to increase profits on one of the most gendered products out there. Now we're going to get to the fun part. Gillette is owned by Procter & Gamble, a conglomerate worth hundreds of billions of dollars, because they're a successful company. It also owns Venus, the female counterpart to Gillette. So if you can't tell, we're about to get into the whole men's razors are cheaper than women's razors thing. This is going to be fun, I promise. To be clear, both brands sell razors. The only difference is who they're selling them to. While women's razors have historically been marketed by brainwashing us into believing that female body hair is somehow shameful and unattractive, men's adverts focus on power of choosing their own facial hair choice. For men, it's a matter of personal preference and grooming. For women, it's about making us feel ashamed of the way our bodies look to men. Alright, women, and I've looked at my demographics, so I know you are listening. Men don't care about your body hair, for the most part, alright? The beauty industry, they're the ones that make you feel this way. You let them. As for having peach fuzz on your face, on your arms, on your legs, I said it on MSNBC, and I will say it again. As long as you don't look like Chewbacca from the knees down, most men will not care. As long as I don't have to take a weed whacker to your bush and go hunting through the fucking jungle to find what I'm looking for, men don't care about the hair down there. And the reason why we don't care about the hair down there is because you're letting us see it. The only hair that most people can vehemently agree on is if you have one eyebrow, it needs to be two. So, blame magazines like Cosmo, blame companies like Maybelline, blame the people who need the blame in brainwashing you. And that is the beauty industry. This objectification of the female body is lucrative. Of course it is. You tell women that they're ugly and they're not going to find a husband, since most women do want that, they're going to listen to you. A 2017 study showed that for the same disposable razor brand, women were charged 60% more than men. Now, I wanted to say it that way because this bitch doesn't know how to write, aside from putting "and" at the beginning of sentences, using words wrong. The way that she says percent, not percent, percent, P-E-R space C-E-N-T, means she's talking about 60 cents, not 60%. So women were charged 60% more than men, not 60 cents more than men. That's a big difference, so I just wanted to make that perfectly clear. This woman is an idiot, or they need better editors at The Independent. On the Boots website at the time of writing, the most expensive Gillette razor was priced at £15, while the Venus options ranged up to £25. There's a reason why. Men don't care about the razor, they care that it cuts facial hair. And for those who do manscaping and shave their chest and their testicles and try and get rid of every piece of hair that they do because their woman likes it that way, that they don't care. They just care that the head moves and that the razor blades don't tear their skin off. Women, on the other hand, they have to have that pretty pink razor, that pretty purple razor. They have to have the razor that has the lotion strip on it. They have to have the one that goes with the curves easily, because having a nick underneath the armpits and between the legs or on the legs tends to hurt. Here's a really, really, really simple way of solving this problem. Buy the men's razor. It's not that hard. Buy the men's razor. It's cheaper. The gender segregation of these products allows brands to charge women more, and many women are willing to pay. Yes, because they want those bonuses that the women's razors give them. It's a choice. It is a choice that they make. You can buy Bic razors, 100 of them for $5. They are the worst razors you could possibly use, but you can use them. They're yellow, they're ugly. Men and women can use both. Or you can pay the $15 for the Mach 3 or the Mach 12 or the one blade that has 20 blades on it that's going to shave so fine it takes off the 6 top layers of skin. Or you can spend the $25 on the fancy pink razor that has the lotion strip attached to it that's going to turn and curve with your body because you want to shave all of the hair off at every instance. This is a personal choice. I'm sorry you don't like it, but it's your choice. It's hard to ignore decades of media messaging implying that the slightest hint of body hair will make us instantly unattractive to men, while also telling us that our sole worth is based on whether men are physically attracted to us. Again, most men don't care about body hair. And I do say most, I can't say all, because I do know some men don't like a certain amount of hair. But as long as your nipples don't look like they have the rings of Saturn around them, men aren't gonna care. And as for your soul worth being based on whether men are physically attracted to you, men's soul worth is based on how much money they make. Think about that. It's the same gendered manipulation that drives the beauty, fitness, and fashion industries, yet razors are sold not as a luxury, but as a necessity. Serena, you were so close to being enlightened there for a second. It's not impossible to challenge this warped status quo. Last year, US brand Billy was broadly praised for releasing the first ever ad campaign for razors, which actually showed women with body hair. The opening shot is of a woman in bed with hair on her legs. We see women blow drying and combing their armpit hair, and gladly posing in their underwear with pubic hair peeking out of the edges. See, this is the problem. What they're showing is lack of hygiene. If you're blow drying and combing your armpit hair, it's pretty goddamn long. If you have pubic hair peeking out of the edges of your underwear, it's pretty goddamn long. It doesn't mean shave it off, it does mean keep yourself groomed. While others choose to just shave their toes or that irritating spot where ripped jeans expose the skin. It's not judgmental, it doesn't objectify women for the male gaze, it simply shows what the product does and it promises to do it well if you ever want to shave. And if you don't, the implication is that that's fine too. I'm sorry to tell you this, Serena. It does objectify women because it's putting them on display, saying, look at these women, stare at them. You're objectifying them still. You're just doing it in a different way. You're trying to use it to prove a point. I guess it's okay when you do it, not when other people do it, right? Gillette could have noted the value in questioning the gender norms associated with the products they're peddling. Why? It's a men's razor. They don't need to deal with gender norms. They're selling to men. They could have created a gender-neutral product, or even a Me Too inspired marketing campaign focused on the women affected by the long history of oppression, which begins with gendered slogans and escalates to the kind of sexual abuse they're ostensibly condemning. Alright, I have a question for you, Serena. Are you going to ask Venus to do the same thing? Does Venus have to become gender neutral? Because if it does, it's going to lose that lotion strip and the pretty pink colors and the stuff that's directed towards women. Are you going to ask Venus to become gender neutral? Are you going to ask Venus to start questioning the gender norms associated with the products they're peddling? My guess is no. You don't want the women's product to turn gender neutral. You want the men's product to bend the knee. And as for having a Me Too inspired marketing campaign, this wasn't about Me Too. I'm sorry, it wasn't. So this is something you're just gonna have to deal with. And they weren't talking about sexual abuse. They were talking about shitty behavior. These types of products and the campaigns they've pushed on us for decades have contributed to a culture where women's bodies are perceived as commodities for men to enjoy. And men's bank accounts are commodities for women to abuse. What's your point? To use a movement aimed at changing this, there should be a comma there, as a way to sell these same products is not just distasteful, it's hypocritical and cruel. How? How is it hypocritical and cruel? There's no hypocrisy in this. They're calling out men to change shitty behavior. They mentioned something that was important last year, like the Me Too movement. How is it hypocritical and how is it cruel? How is it cruel to do what people like you want companies to do? Oh, I get it. I understand. It's because they're not doing it in the way that you want them to. They're not taking the minute and 20 seconds of a commercial and ripping into men 100% and showing them how horrible and evil and vile and detestable they are and how they shouldn't come out of the rocks they've been hiding under because this is a woman's world and men should just bow down to the all-powerful V. It devalues the importance of the Me Too movement. No, it doesn't, making it not a vital campaign for women's rights to bodily autonomy, but a fashionable slogan they can offer men to make them feel better about themselves. Bodily autonomy, a movement that is a vital campaign for women's rights to bodily autonomy. No, that was Roe v. Wade. The Me Too movement was calling out abusers. You said that at the beginning of this goddamn article. What is wrong with you? How in God's green earth does Me Too become a vital campaign for women's rights to bodily autonomy. Someone explain it, please. And it takes the stories of women brave enough to speak up about their assaults, harassment, and denigration, and exploited them to make money as a result. This is a shameful indictment of the world we inhabit, which always has, and seemingly always will, put men first. Serena, you stated that Gillette is a men's razors company, and they were trying to sell razors to men. As odd as that is. So yes, this company, this commercial was for men. I don't know what else to say. This had nothing to do with the Me Too movement. So Serena is just completely and utterly batshit. She's thick. But I will say this. If you don't like what Gillette did, don't talk about it on YouTube or anything like that. And I understand that I'm going to get called hypocritical for this because I'm talking about Gillette. No, I'm talking about this article. I don't care about the commercial. It was a dumb commercial. There's always been dumb commercials, and there always will be dumb commercials. What I'm talking about is if you don't like what Gillette did, speak with your wallet. I have. I don't buy Gillette products anymore. And I stopped buying Gillette products a long time ago. And it was way before this article, this ad campaign came out. I don't like the products. The slogan for this new campaign is the best a man can be. I switched to Dollar Shave Club. I guess they're the best a man can get. And those are my thoughts, folks. I'd love to know yours. Let me know in the comments. And if you like what I do here and you'd like to support the channel, there are some links down below. My Patreon, PayPal, Streamlabs, and the like. And if you want to keep the fun going, there's a link to my Discord down there. You can jump on and talk to me in the hideout. You can also talk to Zach, Drake, or Shade. You can talk to Sarah. Ren's there sometimes too. Or if you want to talk to the people behind the voices, you can always jump into behind the scenes and have a conversation that way. Or you can follow me on Twitter, where I will post randomly. So if you like what I do here, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon so you know when I upload. Or when I go live, since apparently subscriptions don't fucking mean anything on YouTube anymore. And with all that said, thank you for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Help for the Guildless. My name, of course, is Antoine, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.